Southeast remains a cauldron of political ambitions and aspirations. 28 months ago, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made a promise, a tantalizing offer of a slice of bread and tea for the Southeast, contingent to their support for the APC, the All Progressives Congress. Today, that promise echoes in the halls of political maneuvering as key actors in the zone scramble to position themselves as Tinubu's most trusted allies. The journey to the presidency was fraught with complications for Tinubu and the APC, particularly in the southeast part of Nigeria. The emergence of Peter Obi as the presidential candidate for the Labour Party rocked the boat of traditional political alliances and reshaped the electoral landscape. Obi's defection from the People's Democratic Party to the Labour Party was a masterstroke that resonated deeply within the region, attracting significant following and challenging the actual status quo. I'm Odiawa AI, and the show is Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. Join us shortly on Tinubu's allies and politics of relevance in Southeast Nigeria. Now, you're welcome back to the show. Now, in this narrative, it's been a contentious climate in Southeast Nigeria as the Southeast political elite have not been without their own internal strife. Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, Imo State governorship candidate at the time, Hope Uzodinma, who is actually filling in as the incumbent governor, emerged as controversial figures, openly supporting the candidacy of former Senate President Ahmad Lawan. Now, their support was a stark declaration if the APC was unwilling to present the Southeast in the presidential, or rather, represent the Southeast in the presidential race. The then ticket should predominantly remain in the North. Now, this sentiment was not just a cry or a representation, it was a warning signal or sign of the potential fracture within the APC's Southern agenda. As the primary elections actually loomed, the uncertainty surrounding former President Muhammad Buhari preferred candidates added layers of intrigue to the political theater. Tinubu, perhaps sensing the shifting sands beneath his feet, sought the counsel of Orji Uzor Kalu, visiting him in his Asokoro residence. Now, this meeting widely circulated on social media at the time, igniting speculations about the dynamics of power and allegiance within the APC. Now, in any case, the allure of Tinubu's promise seems to have morphed or metamorphosed into a double-edged sword as political actors within the Southeast vie for relevance. The implications of their allegiance to the president become increasingly complex or difficult, as the water, or rather the promise of the slice and bread and tea, now serves as a metaphor for the precarious balance between loyalty and ambition, as they thrive to become the most favored proxies in Tinubu's current administration. Now, behind the scenes, BTS, if I may say, a clandestine plot was unfolding, which is a scheme to thrust the Senate President, Ahmad Lawan at the time, into the presidential race. Little did many know that Lawan, a close associate of Kalu, was being groomed to run a joint ticket with the former Abia State governor. However, the covert operations seem to have been a well-kept secret even from Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, who surprisingly endorsed the Lawan candidacy after being convinced by the APC National Chairman, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, of the president's backing. But as with many political maneuvers, the plan was anything but foolproof. The attempt to introduce Lawan as a consensus candidate at the 11th hour met with fierce resistance within the APC. The Progressive Governors Forum, led by Senator Atiku Bagudu, expressed their discontent, and the strongest opposition came from the governors of Kaduna and Kogi states, Nasir El-Rufai and Yahya Bello at the time. The atmosphere grew charged as Yahya Bello, a presidential aspirant himself, stormed out of a critical meeting with President Buhari, voicing his disapproval of the consensus candidate's narrative. Now, in a state of calculated ambiguity, President Muhammad Buhari maintained his non-committal stance, reassuring the governors that he would support any candidates chosen through the party's democratic processes. This enigmatic position left room for speculation and maneuvering, prompting the 11 northern APC governors to advocate for a shift of power from the north to the south. Now, their endorsement of this rotation was framed as a necessary step to stabilize Nigeria's democracy based on rotation, if might I say, emphasizing the principles of equity and fairness. Now, in a bold statement reflecting the sentiments of his southern counterparts, the then governor of Ondo State, late Rotimi Akeredolu, the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, praised the northern governors for their stand on equity and moral rectitude. In his statement, he said, "We acknowledge this courageous stance for equity and moral rectitude," he declared. Now, those were the words of late Rotimi Akeredolu, aka Aketi. Now, his words echoed the collective hope for a nation that embraces honesty and realistic engagement, saluting the northern governors for their resolve to confronting pressing issues head-on. Now, this commendation, in any case, did not sit well with everyone. Now, amidst this applause, definitely there will be frictions. The Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, led by its national president, Yerima Shetima, expressed deep concerns. They condemned the northern governors for their decision to zone the APC presidential ticket to the south, claiming it undermined the aspirations for a new leadership in Nigeria. Now, in his own words, "We are deeply worried about that dream of having new faces at the helm of affairs of our democratic institutions, which has now been deliberately killed by self-serving governors of the north." These were the lamentations of Yerima Shetima. Now, these accusations flew, suggesting that these northern governors were engaging in a calculated move to manipulate President Buhari into compliance with their own personal agenda. Now, as the political drama unfolded, whispers of an alternative candidate emerged, with former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi of then Rivers State being touted as a potential front-runner. However, President Buhari swiftly denied any of such plots, urging the Southwest Caucus to consolidate their aspirations to prevent a split in their votes. Now, this call for unity highlighted the delicate balance of power within the party as various factions vied for relevance in the looming elections. The endorsement of the power shift brought a modicum of clarity amidst the chaos, facilitating the necessary horse trading and brinkmanship that are hallmarks of Nigeria's politics. It was within this charged atmosphere that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then former governor of Lagos State, current president, leveraged the extensive network of alliances he had cultivated over the years. His strategic maneuvering allowed him to mitigate the threats posed by formidable contenders of the then Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Amechi, John Kayode, and Fayemi, and the chairman of the Governors Forum. Now, the recent events surrounding Tinubu's rise to the forefront of the APC presidential primary revealed a complex web of alliances, betrayals, and ambitions. Might we recall, just days before the crucial special convention held June 6 to June 8, 2022, there were whispers of discontent among the party's leading figures. In some dramatic turn of events, the convention unfolded with a prolonged process of balloting among delegates from the 36 states and the FCT inclusive. The air was thick with anticipation as the chairman of the convention committee, Abubakar Bagudu, finally announced Tinubu as the victor, securing an impressive 1,271 votes. Now, his closest rival, the presumed consensus candidate Ahmad Lawan, could only muster a paltry 151 votes, while Osinbajo and former Transportation Minister Rotimi Amechi received 235 and 316 votes respectively. Now, in his acceptance speech, Tinubu did not shy away from the addressing contentious nature of the primary, expressing palpable disappointment, particularly towards Lawan, whom he accused of being part of a secretive plot to undermine the democratic process. Now, in his words, might we recall, "To you, the legislature, Senate President Ahmad Lawan, I would have been a little upset because you competed with me, but that is over now since you can easily lick your wounds." Now, that's some level of sarcasm, now Tinubu remarked, casting a shadow over the supposed unity of purpose within the party. Such remarks hinted at the deep-seated frustrations that had been brewed beneath the surface. Now, those privy to the inner workings of the APC suggest that Tinubu was particularly incensed by Lawan's involvement in what was perceived as an orchestrated attempt to marginalize the South. After all, Tinubu had dedicated significant time, resources, and political capital to elevate Lawan to the presidency of the Senate in 2015. Now, this betrayal actually was not lost who emphasized the importance of past collaborations in his speech. It doesn't take away from thanking you for past cooperations and collaborations to build our nations, he stated, underscoring the irony of political loyalty in the murky waters of Nigerian politics, which is, of course, evident as we speak now. The aftermath of the convention has left many, or actually left many, questioning at the time the motives and integrity of those who facilitated the failed consensus arrangement. Now, while Tinubu directed his ire towards Lawan, he remained tight-lipped about other players involved, leaving room for speculations and conjecture about their respective fates within the party. Now, the sins of these collaborators, it seems, are likely to haunt them as the political tides have shifted and the quest of relevance intensifies. Join us in the next phase of the show as we shed light particularly on the alliances in the Southeast regarding Tinubu and his relevance in the Southeast. Join us shortly. You're welcome back to the show. Talking alliances and politics of relevance in the Southeast, might we recall Tinubu had paid a visit to the light of the nation, Anambra State, with Soludo actually giving him his endorsement. Now, away from Soludo, zeroing in now on the APC alliance in name of Hope Uzodinma, Imo State governor, who orchestrated a significant town hall meeting that could very well alter the political dynamics in the Southeast. This gathering, featuring none other than the presidential flag bearer Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was not just a meeting of minds. It was a strategic maneuver aimed at securing relevance and influence in the impending Tinubu presidency come 2027. Uzodinma's quick, crucial move comes in the wake of his previous support for the Lawan project, a decision that may have jeopardized his political future in an attempt to realign himself with what could be perceived as the winning team. The governor took a bold step forward as he welcomed Tinubu to the Southeast. Uzodinma revealed a remarkable feat, a coalition of approximately 2,000 business owners from the region, which had actually pulled together a staggering 1 billion naira support Tinubu's presidential campaign. Now, in a tone tinged with urgency and perhaps a hint of remorse, Uzodinma's proclaimed speech, and he quotes, and as I say, I am happy to say our people are fully in support of our presidential candidate who has come to share his vision and plan for Nigeria and the Southeast today. The declaration is more than just a statement, if you will agree, of support. It is a clear signal that the Southeast is ready to play ball or play an active role in the national political arena. This significance of the town hall meeting cannot be overstated, as it is a calculated move, a masterstroke by Uzodinma that positions himself as a crucial figure within the emerging administration of Tinubu. Now, as the political arena continues to evolve, the Imo State governor has emerged as a rallying point for the Southeast, effectively consolidating his influence and creating a pathway for his political aspirations. Tinubu's reliance on Uzodinma is evident as he has entrusted the governor with oversight responsibilities in the 3 non-APC states of the region. The level of trust is not given lightly. It signifies a recognition of Uzodinma's ability to mobilize resources and personnel, as well as to recruit the necessary foot soldiers for soldiering and galvanize support for the party. Now, in a region often seen as a politically fragmented area, Uzodinma's role could not be the glue that binds various fractions together under the APC banner. The implications of this alliance stretch beyond the political maneuvering. It signifies a potential shift in the Southeast political alignment, a region that has historically been a challenging terrain for the APC. With the infusion of the significant financial support and a united front, the Southeast engagement with the Tinubu's campaign could reshape the political calculus of the upcoming elections, zeroing in to the November 8, 2025 Anambra elections. The emergence of Ugo Agbala as the head of the Enugu State Executive Committee was initially thought to be a product of the Imo State political clout. However, the reality is more complex, if we might see or try to analyze, as Senator Andy Uba has been instrumental in shaping the leadership of the Anambra State chapter, illustrating the intricate web of alliances that have formed in the wake of Tinubu's ascension. Now, meanwhile, in Abia State, another southeast region, Ikechi Emenike has attempted to leverage his perceived proximity to former President Buhari, a move that has led to a controversial leadership structure. However, the political tides appear to shift dramatically following President Tinubu's first cabinet reshuffle. The unexpected dismissal of Mrs. Kennedy Ohane, might we recall, and the demotion of Dr. Uzoka Anite to Minister of State for Finance has sent ripples of discontent throughout the Southeast. Many observers are quick to associate these changes with the diminishing influence of Governor Hope Uzodinma, who, despite his role as the current chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, seems to have overreached in his attempts to distribute federal government gestures across the region. When I say federal government gestures, we might understand what I mean: the national cake. Sources within the presidency have emerged with unsettling revelations, as it appears that Governor Uzodinma's heavy-handed approach did not sit well with President Tinubu, who has reportedly, furiously upon discovery that the governor had disregarded direct instructions. The president had mandated him to collaborate with his deputy to form the governing board of the Southeast Development Commission. Instead, it seems the Imo State governor took matters into his own hands, leading to a list of nominees that was subsequently scrapped. Now, interestingly, attempts by the former Senate Chief Whip, Ojiuzo Kalu, to insert his daughter and brother into the commission were met with staunch speculations and resistance. President Tinubu, emphasizing the need for a balanced representation of the geopolitical interests of the Southeast, tasked Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Deputy Speaker Kalu with ensuring that the final list of nominees would reflect a commitment of inclusivity and fairness. Now, these implications of these political maneuvers are profound, like I have just outlined, from Uzodinma, Kalu, and also the hiring of Senate presidents at the lower chamber and also the upper chamber. As the Southeast grapples with its political identity in the context of Tinubu's presidency, the struggle for relevance will actually continue to intensify. Political actors are now faced with the daunting task of redefining their alliances and strategies to align with the new power dynamics. The region, often marginalized in the national political discourse, will be paused at a critical juncture, and the decisions made in the coming months may well determine the future of the trajectory of the Southeast region. Now, as we go deeper into the unfolding drama of Southeast politics, one question continues to loom large: who will emerge as the key player in this intricate game of power, and how will their actions shape the destiny of the region? The quest for a figure who can serve as a reliable anchor for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu under the Southeast region in his administration is actually intensifying. The recent appointment of Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu, the widow of the late Igbo warlord Dim Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, signals a calculated move by the presidency to identify dynamic strikers capable of galvanizing support in the critical region. Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu's appointment is more than just a political gesture. It represents the presidency's urgent need to establish a foothold in the Southeast, a region that has often felt marginalized in the national political discourse. The stakes will always continue to be high as the 2027 elections looming on the horizon. Tinubu's administration understands that the Southeast holds the key to unlocking a significant voter base, making the selection of a prominent leader in the region very imperative. Now, in the midst of this political shuffle, former Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi found himself ensnared in the complexities of his new role as Minister of Works. Once viewed as a potential candidate to lead the Southeast political charge, Umahi's responsibilities in his ministerial appointment have tethered him to a more technical role, leading a void in the political arena that is ripe for the taking. Coming in now, introducing, will be Deputy President of the Green Chamber, Benjamin Kalu, the current Speaker of the House of Representatives. Kalu has emerged as a formidable player in his evolving narrative, working closely with Chief of Staff Femi Gbajabiamila to the President. Kalu has operated behind the scenes, honing his skills as a shadow leader. His ascent to deputy speakership has positioned him strategically to influence the Southeast political narrative, balancing the often monolithic leadership within the APC. Now, on a conclusive note, the quest for political relevance and power within the Southeast by Tinubu's adaptiveness is navigating these turbulent waters will continue to become increasingly apparent. His ability to consolidate support and counter oppositions is a testament to his enduring influence in Nigerian politics. Now, as the battle lines draw and allegiances are tested, Southeast political relevance hangs in the balance, teetering between the promise of patronage and the harsh realities of exclusion. The show has been Viewpoint, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. And I've been your host, Odiawa AI. Thanks for watching.